Hey y'all, we are sorting some things out. We should be good to go pretty soon. So, you know, you can get up and walk away. You can watch. You can do whatever you like. I was about to say, don't leave your seats because we're about to go. But I'm not your mom, so you can do whatever you like. But we do have more entertainment coming, so get ready for that.
Hold on. Let's see if this is still a thing. Okay, let me know if this is back or not, because I was seeing some tech issues. Oh, I'll restart the run. Apparently, people haven't seen the run so far. Okay, I'm gonna restart. Apologies for that. Apparently, I wasn't showing or anything, but yeah, it seems like Storm Jackson is checking his watch. It just went live. Okay, there we go. It's tech issues, they happen. It's all good now, alright. So, yeah, for those who haven't heard it, this is indeed, as the title says, Skuljagger, Revolt of the Westicans, and my name is Janglestorm, and I've been speedrunning this for quite a while now. And I've been doing so recently as well. There have been some interesting discoveries. And this is a bubblegum-based platformer, so yeah, get ready for that, I guess. Gonna do a final check and see if everything is actually ready to go. It seems good. Be good now. If so, then I'm just gonna start it over again. I'm gonna get my stuff ready. Okay. Countdown again in 3, 2, 1, go. So here we go. This is chapter 1 out of a certain amount of chapters. I'm not gonna say too much about that. And this is the island of Westica, which kind of looks like a certain continent. And this is our hero Storm Jackson, who is trying to save the island of Westica from, well, slavery basically, and from the crutches of one Skuljagger, who is the name of the villain. We have a sword, we have projectiles, or in the form of gems, that we can pick up. We also got regular gems, and those will be handy to keep us alive. It's basically a Sonic-like system, you know, with the rings, except you don't really get to keep the rings in this case. Which is unfortunate, because, you know, that would make the game, of course, a lot easier, but it also adds a lot of nice challenge, I guess. We got lots of army folks here trying to shoot at us. I just lost my red gem, which would have been handy there, but oh well. Let's see. I just picked up a bubblegum, which I'm gonna use later. But first we have to deal with these flies throwing rocks at me, because that's, you know, what happens in life sometimes. Sometimes you get flies throwing those rocks at you. Anyway, yeah, there's a whole story behind this too. I'm gonna try and explain it as much as possible, even though it's a very big story, as a matter of fact. The manual is 80 pages long, and the majority of it is filled with this storyline. Not everything translates over to the game, but at least I can give a little bit of insight in what's happening in each chapter. Also, I took my first death there, and death is taking quite a while in this game. It's very dramatic, just so you know. This guy wants to be Guybrush so hard. That's actually not the first time that someone mentions that. That's probably sort of true, but I should also mention there's no pirates in this game. At least the manual, the story doesn't refer to any pirates being in this game whatsoever. Even though you think that's like a thing, but it's not. So yeah, that was the first level. Oh yeah, like I was explaining, we have this sword which actually doesn't belong to us, but it belongs to Skuljagger. We stole it from him, and Skuljagger, of course, is not too pleased and wants it back. So basically, this entire chapter is Skuljagger chasing after us, trying to get the sword back. And now we are in this oh, damn. Hitboxes are a thing in this game. It does look very piratey. I mean, that's true. I would have guessed the same thing, but now that I know that it's not true, I'm gonna just assume that there's no pirates in this game. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this one for safety. It's easier if you have red gems on board. That would be able to make you able to defeat them from a distance. But anyway, there we are. We got through the warehouse now. Got lots of beautiful jars up there. It's a very decorative place. And also bats, by the way. So, I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but the music in this game is also pretty kick-ass. Like, there's some really good tunes here. The music is composed by David Hayes. He also made some other music. Let me tell you, as soon as I'm done with blowing bubblegum here, because this is where the true spice of the speedrun is, this bubblegum here. And this is cherry bubblegum, and this will provide a lot of the, well, sequence breaks or skips, if you like. So, you'll see a lot of that. Let's see, is the internet still out? Because I really hope it's not. Hold on, let me check again. This song, for instance, sounds quite a lot like Eye of the Tiger. And yeah, the music was composed by Dave Hayes, who also, funnily enough, made the music for another game that was in RETROTHON yesterday, namely Loom, or at least made the arrangement for that, I believe. I just learned that. Looks good so far? Okay, I'm just looking over briefly to see if issues have been resolved. In the meantime, enjoy these flying ninjas. Hopefully they... Yar! Looks like it's 100% here. Nice. Doing better now. Okay, good. I'm very glad to hear that. I did lose quite a few lives, so I'm a little bit concerned, especially because this is one of those games where losing lives can be quite a bad thing. More about it later, perhaps, but yeah, first I'm gonna show you some more of this game. More bats. So each chapter is built of it's consisting of three regular levels and then a boss fight. So yeah, guess who it could be? I did mention the name before. Could he show up already? Hey, it is Skuljagger. So what we do here is we got this great bubblegum from the previous level, and we're using it here as the purest of cheese strats. Normally speaking, this would take a longer time, where you just try to walk back and fire and make sure that you don't get hit, because like I said, if you run out of gems, you're basically at a big risk. Yeah, this is the island of Westica, like I mentioned. It's kind of looking tropical, but it's, yeah, it looks very much shaped like a certain continent, as I said. Okay, so now we've snuck on board a Gemworld ship, which features these rats that they call snap rats. They've got these very long tails, and as you might expect, those hitboxes are pretty big, so you have to watch out for those. We just go across these sails. That's the fastest way of getting through this level. And you sort of have to do that, because at some point you have to get up here on the higher part of the deck, and you can't really do that from the other parts of the boat themselves, or itself, so. See, yeah, it's obviously West America. I mean, you can sort of see the outlines resembling that very much. Alright. Also, I'm going to explain something about masks here very soon, because we will find this invincibility mask very soon. And normally speaking I would use it, but in this case it's actually slowing us down, because it sounds really cool, you know, you're going to be invincible, but it also means that you lose control of everything else that you can do except move. So you have to wait for the effect to wear off until you can do things again. So instead we're gonna take these brave steps and just get through ourselves without the mask. But that mask in the story is referring to what they call Mask Day, and that's the only day in the year that the people of Westicans are truly free, and they can celebrate and such, and they don't have to work in the so-called Gemerald mines. So that's basically what it refers to. That's also the only time you'll ever see that mask, by the way. So yeah. A lot of the time we'll be traveling through the city of Tuskamesh, as it's called. You got these coconuts here. And you got these surprise bats. You really have to watch out for them. When I first played this, and when I was first running this, that usually caught me by surprise, really. So you can imagine that I died quite a few times there. We don't have to worry about these bugs or whatever. I could just jump up there. Let's see. Oh yeah, I need one of these because I am gonna set up for a tiny damage boost here, possibly. Okay, that was fine still. Okay. I would have otherwise taken it a bit more risky, and I would have gone through there quite a bit faster, but the bot has become self-aware. Strange things are happening. Okay, so once again we got this grape bubblegum, and once again it's going to be a massive boss killer. So now we got a super massive snap rat, as you might have expected, and we're just gonna roll over here. You know, nothing to see here. It's all fine. This is actually not useful otherwise because it's really slow. I used to love this, for use elsewhere, but this is sort of it's at least useful here, at least. And otherwise, well, you saw the cherry bubblegum in the second part of level or chapter 1, and you'll see a lot more of that. Rest assured. What I just picked up now, by the way, is orange bubblegum. We're not going to use that, but in the event that I wouldn't have grey bubblegum, I would use that to fire bullets. Basically, you spit out these tiny bits of bubblegum, and they're basically projectiles, and you can do quite a bit of damage with that, so that's pretty neat. Okay, that was a nice double shot there. And again. Okay. Oh, ooh, okay, I didn't see those. I only recently learned that those are, let's see. Hold on, I'm gonna set up for something else first. I'll talk some later. Because this is a thing that you can also do with Great Bubblegum. You can just launch yourself up in the air until you reach a cloud. If you reach a cloud, your bubblegum breaks. It's those clouds are really strong, let me tell you that. Okay. Did that for safety, just as a means of creating a certain backup, but yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, by the way, these pig enemies that you saw, I only recently learned those were blade packs. That was what I was gonna say. Clouds are the real boss, yeah, exactly. They really are. Alright, now we're in a level where we're gonna hopefully set up for a pretty massive skip using this cherry bubblegum. A lot of these strats were found when it was featured on a thing that's organized by Smite and also other blues called Speed Bump. And back in December, this was the game that was featured, and for a month people were trying to improve the time on this, and a lot of interesting things were found, really, and included, and that really made the speedrun a lot more interesting, in my opinion. And there's gonna be various instances of these improvements throughout the game. Alright, let's see if I can set it up here. There's a couple more bats. I really have to be careful with these stairs. At some point you cannot do anything input-wise. Okay, to the skies! Oh, yeah. Well, rip that, I hit the wall. So I was trying to go all the way up there, so I don't have to do this climb, or this chain climbing section, which is taking quite a while, as you would have guessed. It's a bit of a risky setup. It's also precision precise what I was trying to do. Like, you have to avoid a couple of enemies, but it would have gotten you up there pretty quickly. What we're gonna do here still, that's gonna be for next level. I'm gonna first take out this guard and then grab this cherry bubblegum, and we'll use that very soon in the next level. Kirby the pirate, yeah. That's a nice one. I like that. Oh yeah, Claw is Mean Dog. Yeah, the password system in this game is pretty interesting. You've got these words that you can fill out, and they make for some nice poetry, don't you think? They really do. Okay, so this is where we use the cherry bubblegum. Skips a little bit of this. If you don't have any gems, it's a very slow section, because you have to deal with one of these skull-slinging enemies as well. And there's otherwise no easy way to get past those. But this makes it a lot easier. Okay, we're gonna climb all the way up here. Gonna grab a grape bubblegum, and we're gonna use that, well, a little bit later, you'll see. Although I think at this point you might guess what we'll use it for, because there's only really one major use for those gums anyway. Anyway, I got the north section over here. And this is going to be a long damage boost. I can basically pick up all of these gems and keep on running. As long as I don't run out of gems, I'll stay alive. So, you know, that way you can sort of pull this off. Okay, time for the third boss. Skuljagger's Prison. And it's Skuljagger once again. It's very funny, for someone who's basically the main villain of this game, we'll be fighting him quite a few times, which is it's a thing I've also found very surprising. I basically stand on this side because this game is known for having quite a bit of lag, and this reduces it really. Also, yeah, Skuljagger is Skuljagger has special powers, as you can see. You can just walk in the air, you know. A long walk of a short beer. Big wild angry fly. There you go. That's the next password. Always good to have passwords. Like I said, especially in this game, you know, you only get limited continues, and the lives are not always easy to be found. Like, you start off with 5 lives. It's possible to get more, but you need to collect at least 25 gems to get a 1-up. So, as you may have seen possibly already, it's not always the easiest task to keep them. So, yeah, I would say good luck with that. Although there are these cannons that you can fire off against enemies in the distance, and sometimes those give you 1-up. So, in certain cases, it's definitely worth doing that if you want to play it safely. Write it down. These passwords, though, they're super memorable. I love them very much. I like that system. There's something weird about it, though, but we'll get to that soon enough. Also, now we have snakes, because this game wouldn't be complete without snakes. Thankfully, we also have these red gems that we can fire, so, you know, at least there's that. Okay, I'm gonna run off here. Got some more of these, what I call flying ninjas. They're officially called, according to the lore, black masks. But I always found they were like ninjas that are flying, so, you know, that's what I call them. But yeah, now we go up the hills. This is gonna be especially fun with some of the enemies that we encounter, because it's gonna be really tough to take some of them out, because you go downhill and such, and you can sort of see how that works out. And with that I mean those snakes. Snakes can be wonderful. This is not even the worst instance, believe me. Ooh, okay, there we go. Okay, I have to watch out for this part though. There's one of these flies that suddenly enters the screen, and you have to be a bit careful when they appear, because it can be a bit of a surprise, to say the least. So I'm gonna jump over this snake here. And as you may have seen, I got the cherry bubblegum in the beginning, and yes, we're gonna set up for another big, well, I was gonna say skip, but it's more like, I'm not sure if it's even a sequence break, but you do skip a lot of the level. And yeah, the music is nice indeed. Okay, so here we go. Cherry bubblegum, let's go. So I've got a couple of visual cues here, whilst I go all the way up here. So, first of all, those windows, going past these reds, lots of lag. Someone trying really hard to kick my bubblegum, which is probably not a good idea. And we go up here. Have to get right past these flying ninjas. We also have to be aware of staircases, because staircases can also break my gum. Which seems odd, because I tend to pass a lot of platforms and somehow that leaves it untouched and everything, so I'm not sure how that works. But there we are, that's basically the entire level skipped. Otherwise we would have done a lot more climbing, a lot more waiting for elevators and lots of flying ninjas. But, you know, we skip off that. Alright, time for something of a change in boss fights. Because here we are, we have these battle dogs that we fight. And it takes a bit of a different setup as opposed to how we would normally beat these bosses. So first of all, we use this green bubblegum, and well, you decide what flavor it is, I guess, because I have never really found the definitive answer on that. Like, to me it always seemed like lime or lemon or something, but so for some, yeah, I mean, GameFAQs claims that it's what you call it, melon, well, watermelon, sorry. But of course, that seems a bit too far-fetched, I guess. Anyway, that was the boss. Now we have the cherry bubblegum once again, and we got this passcode: fly home, lazy sword. And that's gonna be the last password that you'll see in this game. I know. And yeah, as you might have guessed, this is not the end of the game, because, you know, this is basically the Wily stages of this game. If this were Mega Man. So now we got chapter 5, and from this moment on we have to play all of these chapters back to back on the same amount of continues and lives. And otherwise we have to start from here again. So, gonna see if we can keep ourselves alive, which is not always the easiest task. There's gonna be a couple of backups though, so if anything, the newly found discoveries have made this quite a bit marathon safer, so we just have to get there to that point. You'll see soon enough. In the meantime, we have to avoid these birds with coconuts. This is definitely the definition of jerk birds, if you ask me. Because, you know, what's better than jerk birds is, you know, jerk birds dropping coconuts, right? So, on skin. Oh, damn. I missed that somehow. Okay, I'm going uphill. I'm gonna see if I can grab this red gem here. Yes, got it. I think I saw the question earlier. This is for the Super Nintendo, this game. It was only released in North America, to my knowledge. And since I'm from Europe, I had never heard of this game until a while back when it was featured on Kusa Grande at some point. That was actually a while back. That was like in the second Kusa Grande, I think. And at some point I was like, well, okay, this seems interesting, and I eventually wound up playing it and thinking, well, I should perhaps see if I can speedrun this. So that's how that sort of came about. And this is, I guess, over 2 years ago, almost 3 years? It's been a long time, but... You missed passwords already? Developed in the USA, yeah, there you go. Okay, and this is the main reason why we carry over the cherry gum from the last chapter, basically to skip this whole platforming section. It's very convenient. So this is not the only skip in this level. There's one other thing which is actually pretty significant, because it's a so-called level warp that is something that you can derive from hints in the manual. Not only is there a storyline in this manual, there's also the occasional hint that is written backwards. And if you follow those hints, you will eventually get to a certain thing that you have to do at a certain point. And it's very cryptic, but it's very cool that they were ambitious enough to include that, I think. But you'll see that soon enough. First you got these, I guess, gargoyles. They're in the midst of a jungle and it's late at night. Also, yeah, I pick up these checkpoints. You gotta be aware that if you get past those checkpoints and you're surrounded by enemies, that it could really have a certain effect on if you have to start over again from that point and yeah, all that. Okay, so someone's trying really hard to do something. Anyway, this is the warp that we're talking about. Well, the start of it. Now we go into a so-called fantasy zone. And this is where the run gets a little bit safer, because now we have all these one-ups that we can grab. But yeah, this rock, as soon as we pick it up, or as soon as we stand in the position, we go to chapter 6. So we effectively skip 2 levels. Yeah, the manual is 80 pages long. I think it's like almost like there's like 4 pages of instructions, and the rest is all like story and lore. And I do have a digital copy of it. I still want to find the manual itself on eBay or something. I do have the card, but I don't have the manual, sadly. But at least I know what it looks like and what the story is like. So yeah. Speaking of the story, there's only bits and pieces that I explained, but there's also some skips to talk about. Like in this case, we once again used cherry bubblegum to skip a lot of stuff here. The way I used to do it was I went up those platforms first where I was in the beginning, and then later on I would get over here. But that was a much longer stretch than this is actually. And now we have lizards and ghosts. And as you might have guessed, we're currently in the Lost City. To be specific, the Lost City of Urnham. Because as it turns out, this sword has a voice in it somehow, and that belongs to the King of Urnham. So we're working together and he's leading us here. And that's basically in order to get to certain weapons that they don't want to fall into the hands of Skuljagger. So it's basically to prevent things from happening. Yeah, basically that's also true. They were sort of doing that to make sure that kids would keep on reading and such. Basically as an encouragement, basically as was pointed out. Which is interesting. I don't know any other games that have really gone that route. There might be some others, but I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that at all. Also, this is a pretty scary part. Those flies, they fly in exactly the right height that you can get hit by them. So you have to watch out for that. Also, this part is filled with ghosts. A lot of ghosts that are grouping together, and therefore there's a lot of lag in this area. As you can tell. Sometimes it even causes the music to slow down. It's pretty amazing. The ghosts are pretty strong. You can say that much. Okay, there's one zigzagging over here, gotta take care of that. And got some pretty easy jumps over here. There we go. So we're pretty good on the gem count, so there's a somewhat small chance that we might get another extra life. Although we picked up some, we did pick up some extra lives when we did the warp, so that was pretty cool. Okay, I could have technically left those ghosts alone, and I could have just walked underneath them and grabbed a gem without taking any damage whatsoever. But this is sort of what happened. Alright, so once again we carried over cherry gum from the previous level. It seems like a recurring thing at this point, which is something that definitely happened following when it was featured on Speed Bump. It did include a lot of those threats, really. These ghosts, by the way, are pretty scary sometimes. I try to get around them, but they can be unpredictable in a sense. Anyway, one fun fact about gum is this. It instantly activates as soon as you stand on the platform. In the case of cherry bubblegum, it instantly blows up into a balloon and you can instantly use it. It's very handy. Just walking past this gallery of what they call plasma blasters. These are the guns that they don't want Skuljagger to have. So the funny thing is, they do sort of mention the fact that that Storm Jackson is gonna encounter Skuljagger here, but we're not gonna see them in the game. So instead, we have a ghost, because you know, ghosts have been everywhere in this level. So therefore, you know, we fight them as a boss. That's kind of the unwritten rule here. So I usually try to deal certain hits, get to the side, and then run underneath again, sort of repeating that, and trying to keep a certain distance, because it can get pretty scary pretty quickly. But this was okay. Cherry gum! There you go. Yep, ghosts. This was the biggest one of them. Okay, we're in chapter 7. We're finally at the last chapter, so 5 to 7 is going to be played back to back, which, casually speaking, might be a bit difficult sometimes, I guess. But there's ways to make it easier, I guess. And now we have some more cherry bomb, so enjoy. Just gonna fly up in the air. Gotta beware of the clouds. Just gonna get past that. It does skip a lot of climbing here, so, you know, that's pretty neat. And that enemy too. Barely hit me, or was about to hit me. Okay. There we go. And as such, it's feeling like a much shorter level, I would say. Like, as soon as you're past all of that, it's like you just ride it out. You just go across the bridge, and this is the end of the level. This is not nearly the scariest level in Chapter 7, believe me. Even though there's grenades. But yeah. This is a neat little game. I can recommend giving it a try. I've always found it very charming. Like, you could say it's got obvious flaws. You know, there's this password system that's not carried all the way across, and there's some other weird things, and there's the lag and everything. And the hitboxes are kind of wonky, but I must say I find it incredibly charming, and I would definitely say it's one of my favorite games in a certain way. And I've got this thing on my channel where I have people redeem channel points, and I do the victory pose that Storm Jackson does at the end. I can't believe that we've gone 30 minutes into this run, and I've not even talked about that epic victory pose, because it's really epic. Let's just take a look at it very closely as soon as I'm at the end of this level. First off, we have to get past these stretches here. Oh, I do have a red gem. Okay, that's good. Normally I would have picked those up as a backup, but I decided to not do that this time. The chances of me losing it are sometimes equally big. As you might have noticed, the music is pretty similar, but what is there, I find, is really good. Like, it's especially the bass is just really good. Alright, victory pose time. Everyone can join in. It's a very good pose. See? I just love, I love the pose so much. So also in the story, they have this battle greeting between Storm Jackson and his friends, which goes Ingava. And I always imagine that whenever Storm Jackson does a pose, he sort of says the words, it says the word Ingava. It's been inseparable for me, that whole idea. Okay, this is 7-3, and this is a pretty scary level if you don't have red gems, as you might have seen already. You have to really anticipate a lot of the enemies coming towards you. It can go bad pretty quickly. But yeah, as soon as you have red gems, then it's a lot easier. Also, the last time you'll be hearing this particular version of the Eye of the Tiger. And because it's the final level before the boss, there's going to be lots of flies, of course. Just so you know. Gonna see if I can get past here, just like this. It can be a pretty scary part, but... Also, speaking of scary, the final boss fight used to be really scary, because for the longest time I had no idea that there was this great bubblegum that I could pick up. But knowing that it was there, it made that last boss fight a lot easier. Otherwise, you really have to hope to get lucky and win the fight, trying certain ways to get through it. That poof noise where you kill the enemies, yeah. I also love how everybody just explodes, really. Like, like I said, there's lots of wonderful silliness in this game, and I just find it really charming. And also the fact that they made that whole story behind it really speaks of a certain ambition that I find very commendable. So yeah, flaws aside, I can definitely recommend giving this game a try. Okay, got a setup here, two on the left, two on the right, one on the left, this one. Got a couple more enemies to deal with, but one blind drop there. It looks really scary, but it's not. Alright, and this brings us to the final boss. So once more this victory pose, or actually in a regular level. And yeah, as you would have expected, the final boss fight is a total cheese fest. Because it's Skuljagger once again, we just stand over here, use this bubblegum, and then wait till the health bar drains and times as soon as I have dealt the last hit. So, here we go, and... time! That was still actually a pretty good run despite having lost a couple of lives in the beginning. But there we go. How hard to swing that sword in order to pulverize them? There's that funny thing, I haven't even gone into detail about it yet, but there's a weird thing with using the sword and ducking. Because if you duck and use your sword, if you do it in one order, you attack and then duck, you don't see the animation, and so you don't hit anything. But if you duck first and then attack, you will actually do that. So that's something you gotta keep in mind. It's very tempting to sort of do that the opposite way. But yeah, there we go. Janglestorm. And there's lots of final lore. What you then see is Skuljagger turns into a rat, then heads off to the city of Urnham. But yeah, basically everything is fine again, and we celebrate and dance and sing through the streets of Tuskamesh. But as I say before, warned, even as you celebrate, a rat is making its way quickly through the nighttime jungle. See, there we go. Scurrying towards the lost city of the Urnham, and its purpose, one can only guess. Yeah, it's literally a sequel setup, which never came, by the way. I'm pretty sure they were considering it at some point, but it never made it, sadly, so yeah, that's unfortunate. This much can be said, there is maybe a time where you'll be again called upon to save Westica from a cruel monster named Skuljagger. So, there you go. It's a pretty damn good ending, yeah. So, what normally would have happened if I didn't have the great bubblegum is I would have picked up a couple of the rocks that you saw lying around just to deal a couple of hits, and then I would have set myself up on the one side of the screen, and I would have just I would have ducked and I would have kept on mashing, just keep on attacking, and then hope that Skuljagger doesn't get past you. Because if it goes well, then you can do a lot of hits and you'll still win, but it's very sketchy. So in any case, using the great bubblegum there is very, very effective. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. It's always fun to show this off. Like, it's probably not one of the most well-known SNES titles, but I've always found it very charming and everything, and there's something about it really. And bubblegum, you know, how 90s can it be? How 90s can it be? So yeah, I was like showing this off, and I'm very glad that I was still able to do this. I sort of filled in at this kind of at the last moment. I had submitted this, but it wasn't backup. But yeah, I was very glad that I got to show this off to you all, and I hope you'll enjoy it. If you want to learn the run, you can always contact me on the social media and whatnot. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll throw it over to the next run, and I'll be back on Thursday with a couple more runs. I'll be doing Gordo 106 for the Atari Lynx and Hardhead, the arcade game, and Saturday I'll be doing a Die Hard race with Sharif. So that should be 2 minutes of goodness. Alright, I'm out. I'm gonna throw it back to the next run. So take care, and I'll see you later.